All right, so we're looking at 11.2, which is median and mode. Starts on page 817. So a vocabulary startup says a data set can also be described by its median or its mode. The mean, median, and mode are called measures of center. So we've already talked about mean, where we add up all the parts and then we divide by how many parts there are. And then we're going to be looking at median and mode, which are also ways to figure out what the center of the data is. For median, I want you to write the word middle, because median and middle sound kind of the same. For mode, we're going to write the word most, because that's the word that we need to really think about when we say mode, most. Which one shows up the most often? And I don't have a good trick for mean. It's just mean to you because it makes you do all this work. Okay. All right. So real world link. The table shows the number of Atlantic hurricanes in different years. So we had 5, 15, 9, 7, 4, 9, and 8. It says to order the data from least to greatest and then circle the number in the middle of your list. To find the mean, you need to add them all up and then divide by how many there are. And I want you to compare the number that's the number in the middle that you're going to see in number 1 with the mean that you're going to find in number 2. So go ahead and pause the video now and do both 1 and 2. So for number 1, when you put them in order from least to greatest, and honestly, median is so easy. The biggest thing that people do wrong is not putting them in order. You have to put them in order to be able to find what number lands in the middle. So in this case, when we did tag your it, tag your it, tag your it, and I used different colors each time I did my tag your it, I ended up with 8 in the center. So my median, oh, sorry, we're not even there yet, so let's move on. Then number 2 says find the mean. You add them all up and then divide by 7 because there's 7 pieces. We end up with 8.14 rounded to the nearest hundredth. And so comparing that middle number, which was 8, with the mean, which is 8.14, what do you think? Well, I mean, honestly, the values are very close. 8.14 and 8 are very close. And they both represent a really good middle, center, measure of the center of these hurricanes. Because we have, 4, 5, 7, and then we've got 8, 9, 9, and 15. So it's a really good center. So median here, the definition that they give you in the book, is the median is a list of values is the value appearing at the center of a sorted version of the list, or the mean of the two central values, which we're going to see an example of that in a little bit. So this is where mean is going to come in handy if there are 2 numbers that are in the center. So for instance, you've got 5, 7, 8, 9, 9, 12, and 15. And then, let's say 16. And I'm doing my tag your it, tag your it, tag your it. I end up with 2 numbers in the center. I can't say tag your it and then not have any. That's not going to work. So I need to take these 2 numbers and find the mean average of the 2. Really, I'm looking for the number that lands in the middle of the 2. Now, in this example, it just so happens that my 9s are, when I add them together, 9 plus 9 will be 18. 18 divided by 2 is going to be 9. The number that's in between 9 and 9 is 9. Okay, that's kind of a weird one, but you'll see other examples soon. All right, that's one thing. Now, the mode is the number or numbers that occur most often. Let me get rid of all this. So looking at this same number set, and what's great is that a lot of times when they're asking for the mode, they're also going to be asking for median. You're already going to have them all in order. So you should see right away, okay, there's no duplicate here. It doesn't happen most often. Doesn't happen most often. Doesn't happen most often. Okay, but there's 2 for 9s. There's no other one of these each. So 9 is the value that occurs most often. It just so happens it's also the median, but that's not always the case. All right, just as mean is one value used to summarize a data set, the median and mode also summarize a data set with a single number. If there is more than one number that occurs with the same frequency, a data set may have more than one mode. And that's a really important thing. So if for instance, in this set that I have here, I added another 16, let's say, I'd actually have two modes. I'd have my 9s and I'd have my 16s. And so my mode for this one would be 9 and 16. So that's something you need to think about, that is possible, that we can have more than one mode. All right, so let's look at some examples. Example number 1 says the table shows the number of monkeys at 11 different zoos. Find the median and mode of the data. All right, so we've got different zoos here. One has 28, one has 36, 18, 25, 12, 44, 18, 42, 34, 16, 30. So if we need to find the median, we're going to order them from least to greatest, which will also help us when we find the mode. So keep that in mind. So when we find the median, we're going to put them in order from least to greatest so that we've got 12, 16, 18, 18, 25, 28, 30, 34, 36, 42, 44. And we're going to do our tag you're it. 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 Ding, 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 ding. The winner chicken dinner is number 28. So that's the median. It's in the center of the data set. Now for mode, it's the one that occurs most often. And so if I'm looking for the one that occurs most often, I'm going to see that the 18 is the only number that's duplicated at all. I don't have any other number besides 18 that shows up more than once. So in this example, mode is 18. So the median is 28 monkeys and the mode is 18 monkeys. And what we have to start thinking about is which one makes more sense as the middle of the middle of the data set, or the center of the data. If you have two options that are so far apart, you've got 18 and you have 28. And if I found the mean, it would be something even, again, different. And so we're going to be talking later about how we would differentiate and decide which one makes the most sense for the good, mean, median, or mode average to find the center of the data. All right, so Dina recorded her scores on 7 tests in the table. Find the median and the mode of the data. So she got a 93%, 88, 94, 93, 85, 97, and 90. And so we're going to order these from least to greatest, and then we're going to circle the number in the center. That's going to be the median, and we're going to circle the most frequently occurring numbers, and that's the value, that's the mode. So go ahead and pause the video now and try and do this on your own. Okay, so first things first, you should have put these in order from least to greatest. So it would be 85, 88, 90, 93, 93, 94, and 97. And what I really suggest that you always do is go back and make sure that you got all of them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we want to make sure we get all 7 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're good. So now we can start doing the tag you're it. You don't want to start doing tag you're it until you've made sure you put all the numbers in, because maybe after you saw 93 once, you only wrote it once and you didn't want to duplicate it, so you are missing a number. So it's important that we have both of those 93s in our data set. All right, so we go tag you're it, tag you're it, tag you're it, ding 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 ding, winner chicken dinner. And so 93 is our median. Then we're going to circle the one that happens most frequently, and that's going to be our 93s, because 93 is the only one that duplicated. So the median is going to be 93, and the mode is also 93. Again, that's a perfect world. It's not always going to happen like that. But looking at her data and her information, do you think that's a good representation of her average on tests? At some point she's gotten 85s, at some point she's gotten 97, but do you think 93 is a good representation of saying, yeah, her average is about 93? I think it's a good representation. When it shows up as more than one of the central tendencies, which is what mean, median, and mode are, they're called central tendencies, it's a pretty good indicator that it's a really good average. All right, so the list shows the numbers of stories in the 11 tallest buildings in Springfield. Yes, that's where Homer Simpson is from. Find the median and mode of the data. Do you guys even know who Homer Simpson is? I don't know if you do. All right, so go ahead and find the median and mode. Pause the video now. It's really important that you understand how to do this. Make sure that you're using these different steps, like checking to make sure that you've got all the numbers included, that you put them in order from least to greatest. All right, go for it. Pause the video now. All right, so you should have first put them in order from least to greatest. So we've got 17, 19, 20, 21, 24. Okay, it's easier when I kind of get rid of them as I'm going here. We've got 30, 33, 37, 38. So 30, 33, 37, 38, and then we have the two 40s. All right. So now I'm going to do my tag, you're it, tag, you're it. So tag, you're it, 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 ding, 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 ding. And 30 is my median. Okay, it's the middle, so my median is 30. Now, looking through my data information, I need to see what shows up more than once, because now I'm going to look at mode, and mode is what happens more than once. So I've got my 40s show up more than once, and as I go through all the rest of my numbers, I don't see anything else that duplicates, so 40 is my best. Now keep in mind, guys, that you could also have most, look at me, I'm already putting that. You could have a 2 of a kind, a 2 of a kind, and a 3 of a kind. And the 3 of a kind is the one that has the most. So it would be our mode. So it's not necessarily what shows up more than once. It's what shows up the most. Example number 3 says find the median and mode of the temperatures displayed on the graph. So we give the median, okay, we've got our things in order. It goes 55.8, 58.2, 64.4, and 71.2. We do tag your it, and we end up with 2 in the middle. And so the way that we find the median when there's an even number of data values is to find the mean of the 2 central values. So we're going to add 52 or 58.2 plus 64.4, and then we're going to divide that number by 2 because that's 2 values. So then we get 61.3 is the median temperature of the graph. Then when we go to mode, you notice that nothing shows up twice. We've got 55, 58, 64, 71. None of those are duplicating, not even once, so there is no mode. So not only can you have more than one mode, but you can actually have no mode as well. So median and mean, that's just one number. That's just one amount. But mode can be none. It can be more than one. So the thing, though, that you need to understand is that if it is none, you need to put none or no mode. Okay? Do not write 0, because if you write 0, you're telling me that 0 is the number that showed up the most. And that's not the case. It's none. There's no mode. So example number 4 says Miguel researched the average precipitation in several states. Find and compare the median and mode of the average precipitation. You know, I knew I was going to mess that word up. All right, so median, we're going to put them in order from least to greatest. And then we're just going to do our tag your it, tag your it, tag your it, tag your it. Darn. There's 2 in the middle. That's not chicken dinner. So we got to add them together and then divide by 2, which you see here. And then you'll get your median is 49.8 inches of precipitation. Then the mode, when you go through your numbers, you'll notice that 42.2 is the only one that duplicates, and so 42.2 is the mode. So the median is 49.8 inches, and the mode is 42.2 inches. The median is 7.6 inches greater than the mode. All right, so it says find and compare. When you're comparing, go ahead and subtract and see what comes up. 7.6 inches greater than the mode. All right, so find the median and mode of the cost in the table, and then I'd like to add to it, I'd like you to compare them, okay? And just like they did before, where they subtracted and figured out which one was greater, or maybe they're going to be equal. All right, go ahead and pause the video now, please, and find the median and mode of the cost in the table for backpacks. All right, so we're putting them in order from least to greatest: 16.78, 18.38, 22.89, 26.79, we've got 28.54, and then 31.42, 48.75, and 51.25. Remember, the next thing I'm going to do is make sure I got all my numbers, because I've made a mistake before. I'm not going to make the mistake again and get the wrong answer after all this hard work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, good. So I've got all my numbers. Now I'm going to do my tag, you're it. Tag, you're it. Tag, you're it. Tag, you're it. Nah, there's 2 in the middle. All right, so I'm going to take my 26.79 plus my 28.54, and I'm going to add those together and then divide by 2. Remember, when you're adding these, that you need to line them up, line up the decimals. So I'm going to just create a space to work here. Actually, I'll do it right here. So 26.79, 28.54. Got 13, carry the 1, 13 again, carry the 1, 15, carry the 1, and we've got 55.33. Now, obviously, you should know that that's not the answer. A lot of times I will tell you that people make the mistake of putting down the answer as 55.33. That's not the median. That's when we added the 2 middle numbers together. That's not going to work. So now we need to divide this by 2. So now we can get together our 55.33 and divide that by 2. So it's going to be 2, 7, which makes sense because remember that we're looking for a number between 26 and 28. So 27 is already making sense to me. That's going to be the remainder of 1 with 13, 6. I know, I'm sorry, I'm making this really crazy looking. That's going to be 13 again, so 6. And then we have 1, 0. Okay. Oh, and that'll be 5. All right, so the middle number is going to be 27.665, which, if this is money, I need to round up to $27.67. So the median is $27.67. Okay, that's how much the average of the median average of the backpacks will be. All right, now we need to find the mode, and the mode of our information is the one that shows up the most often. So going through my amounts here, I instantly see that there are no amounts that are duplicated. So my mode is none, or I could write no mode. All right, and so if I'm comparing the two, I would say that there is no mode, and so the median would be $27.67. Now it says find and compare the median and mode of the costs in the table. I guess I should have trusted them to do this. So you're going to find and compare the median and mode of the costs in the table. So go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to do this, median and mode. All right, so the first thing you should have done was put these in order from least to greatest. So we're talking about the cost of juice. So it starts with $1.65, $1.97, and then we're going to the $2 range. So we've got $2.35, Then we've got 245, and then we've got 249, and then we've got $2.87 twice, and then we've got our $3.75, which must be the best tasting juice because it's more expensive than all of them. All right, so looking at our numbers, let's count to make sure that we got them all. There should be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm good. Now I'm going to do my tag, you're it. Tag, you're it. Tag, you're it. Tag, you're it. And I've got these two in the center. Now remember that I'm looking for a number that falls in the middle of $2.45 and $2.49. Sometimes that number is going to be a really easy number to come up with. Like if it was 8 and 9, then $8.50 would be in the middle. But the way that we can figure it out for sure is by taking these two numbers, adding them up, and then divide by 2. So we're going to have, let's see, 494, and divide that by 2, and that's going to be $2.47 is the median, which makes sense that 47 would be in the middle of 45 and 49, right? So $2.47 is the median. Now we're going to find the mode, and the mode is the one that shows up the most often, and the only one that showed up more than once was $2.87. So that's going to be our mode. All right, now to compare the two, I'm going to say that the mode is 40 cents more expensive than the median. Okay? So I say that the mode is 40 cents more expensive than the median because the mode is $2.87 and the median is $2.47. And again, if you looked at it, what would you think is the better central tendency? Would it be the median, which is $2.47, or the mode, which is $2.87? All right, example number 5 says, describe the daily high temperatures using the measures of center. So we're going to do mean, median, and mode. And when we put them in order from least to greatest for median, and we do our tag, you're it, tag, you're it, tag, you're it, ding, 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 we get 71 as our median. Since they're already in order, I see that 71 is the only one that duplicates. So I also see that 71 is my mode. Now finding the median, remember that we add up all of the values and then divide by how many there are. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 values. And so I'm going to take the total of all those numbers and divide them by 7. And it tells me that 69 degrees is the mean average. So looking at these numbers, and I've got 73 all the way down to 64. Is 69 the better measure? Is the median 71 and mode 71 the best measure? That's something that we have to figure out. So to describe what happened, it says that the median and mode are both equal to 71 degrees. They're both 2 degrees greater than the mean. The data follows the measures of center in that the temperatures are close to the measures of the center. So that 69 and 71, they're not that far apart. It's not like we're talking about the lowest number or the highest number. We're talking about numbers that are in the middle of the data set. So 69 and 71 are both really good measures of center. All right, so I'd like you to do D on your own. Describe the cost of CDs using the measures of center. So you're going to be finding the 3 M's, mean, median, and mode. When you come back, we'll go over the answers. All right, so for the mean, we're going to start by adding up all our amounts and dividing by how many there are. All right, so the mean will end up being $15.98. And then we're going to put in our, we're going to do our median, put our things in from order from least to greatest. So we're going to start with the 1195, 1259, 1289, 1849, 1999, 1999. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 amounts, which is perfect. And so we're going to do our tag you're it, tag you're it, tag you're it. We get our two middle ones. Of course, our two middle ones are going to be $12.84 and $18.49. So we need to find the number that falls directly in the center of that. We do that by adding these two together and then dividing by 2. So go ahead. Let me work. And so when I add the two together, it's $31.38. Of course, that's not my mean or my median. So I'm going to take the take that amount and divide it by 2 and get $15.69, and that is our median. And then to find our mode, it's the one that shows up most often, and the one that shows up the most often is our $19.99. Now, if we're talking about measures of central tendency, you notice that our mean and our median are very close to each other. Okay, we don't have a big difference between the two, whereas our mode is the highest number there, the highest cost. So it doesn't mean that necessarily that the mode is going to be the best measure of the center when it's the highest amount. Am I spending about $19.99 on every CD? No, I'm not. It's the most I spent on all the CDs. But saying that $15.98 or $15.69, because they're only like 29 cents different, that's a good indicator of the measure of center, because you know, okay, I've got $11 CDs and I've got almost $20 CDs. So the middle of those two, a good number would be that $15.69. All right, so these are our 3 measures of the center: our mean, median, and mode. All right, guys, that finishes up our median mode for lesson 2. If you have any questions, make sure you ask me in class. Thanks, guys. See you in school.